あがいても無駄だよ。助けて。
よーし、ヒロインの出番よ。アイドル男子スーチー対戦だ。
Welcome to a new episode of Retro Core. This is Retro Core 2 Volume 6, and we've got loads of great stuff for you in this month's show, including Game Tengoku for the Sega Saturn, better known as Game Paradise. We've got Sports Jam on the Dreamcast. We've got Ninpen Mamaru for the Sega Saturn. We've also got some lovely stuff for the Sega Mega Drive, including Splathouse 2 and the so-called Sonic Jam 6. We've got a lovely little helicopter game for the Nintendo Wii, and we've got a bit of Neo Geo. No, we haven't. We've got a bit of arcade action, I should say. Also got a lovely introduction from Ridge Racer Revolution. But kicking it all off, Soul Calibur for the Sega Dreamcast. What a dramatic intro. And I remember when this game first came out, a lot of people complaining because it didn't have a CG intro. But actually, I'm glad Namco went for that version. And what's better, you can actually customize that full introduction. Once you complete the game a few times, that is. So on with the arcade version of the game, well, arcade mode I should say. You can see you've got loads of characters there, but you don't actually get all of them when you first start the game. You've got to play it and beat a couple of their modes to get all them up. Now straight away you can see that the game looks absolutely beautiful. And considering it was released 8 years ago in the year 2000 and was one of the early Dreamcast 3D fighters, well, it wasn't the first, it was certainly one of the early ones. And it became to be one of the benchmarks of 3D fighters. It's a shame Namco have lost the plot now with bloody Darth Vader and Yoda in Soul Calibur 4. What are they thinking?
Victory strengthens the soul of
Not that I don't like Darth Vader and Yoda, but put them in Soul Calibur. Stupid. Anyway, on with this Dreamcast version. As I said, you can see it's a beautiful looking game. But it's not only the graphics that make this game special, it's the whole atmosphere of the game. You know, the soundtrack is certainly, well, it's something I've never heard in a 3D beat-em-up until this came along. Full orchestral soundtracks really do add to the game's atmosphere. Kicking the balls then, but she hasn't got any, has she? And unlike many 3D fighters, in Soul Calibur you can't just mash the buttons. Well, you can, but you won't get very far, to be honest. Unlike in Dead or Alive 2, you can mash the buttons all you like and you still bloody win. This game actually takes quite a lot of skill, and at one point I was quite a master with Calibur. But these days I've forgot all the moves now, so I'm pretty useless. So once you complete a couple of modes, you get this museum mode up. And in here you got all sorts of lovely extras, such as an art gallery with hundreds of pictures. And you got this exhibition mode as well, where you can choose any character and perform the moves. Looks really cool. And you can move the camera around yourself or put it in a free static position, or have it on automatic like it is at the moment. Another nice mode in the game is the quest mode. Well, here you can see the profile, tells you all about the character and the stage and whatever. But as I was saying, in the quest mode you have to go around the Soul Calibur world and complete certain tasks. When you complete those tasks you get points, and it's those points which you use to open up all these little extras which you can see right now. It really does add an awful lot to the game. But the thing is, I heard it was taken out of the Xbox 360 HD version, which is a great shame. And there's one of my favourite modes where you just want to relax and sit back and see how beautiful this game is.
Battle 1, fight!
Select two of your favourite fighters, stick them on the stage of your choice, and watch them beat the crap out of each other. Wonderful. If you've got a Dreamcast and you've never played Soul Calibur, you don't know what you're missing out on. And the thing is, the game is not that expensive either, and it's quite easy to find. So go and get yourself a copy now, sit back and enjoy yourself.
Time's up! Shanhua wins!
Oh, we cut that intro a bit short, didn't we? Splatterhouse 2 for the Sega Mega Drive. We've featured Splatterhouse 3, and we've featured Splatterhouse, the original, on the PC Engine. But we've never done Splatterhouse 2, which is the weakest of the series, to be honest. Now, the first Splatterhouse was quite unique. It was the first in the series, and walking around splatting the crap out of zombies and mutated monsters was quite enjoyable. And the third series, it was multi-scrolling, so you could walk up and down the area, and you also had different routes to take as well. It really did add quite a lot to the game. But this second in the series is, well, at the time it was pretty, well, yeah, I suppose I enjoyed it at the time when it first came out. After all, I was a teenager, wasn't I? Blood and guts, what you'd all want, isn't it? But these days, doesn't seem as gory as it used to be. And you still got that lovely, cool soundtrack, though. Quite nice intermission screens there. But the thing about Splatterhouse 2 is that it all seems a bit on the slow side, to be honest. And it does get a little bit repetitive. Well, it's a quick blast from the past. It is quite nice, but when you got Splatterhouse 3 out there in the original Splatterhouse, it's sort of, you do have to ask yourself, why would you go and play Splatterhouse 2? With its slow, sluggish controls. Back in the day, it was a decent enough game, but these days, I don't know. Mind you, still got quite a few various ways to kill the enemies. That, for instance, splatting them over the head with a dead person's bone. This monster's pretty cool. When you kill him, his eyes explode. But you'll get to see it, mind you. Like, I die. Told you so. It smells like 6, and for once it's not running on a Neo Geo. And you got all your favourite characters there to choose from, so we're gonna choose Eddie. Now one thing you certainly cannot notice on this video except the backgrounds are high resolution, but the sprites are low resolution. Yep, that's right. Basically, the backgrounds are what you'd expect to find on a Sega Saturn game, for instance. No, sorry, not a Sega Saturn game, a Sega Dreamcast game. And the sprites are your typical, well, they weren't low at the time, but they are now, low resolution Neo Geo sprites. Now this really does look weird, having the high resolution backgrounds mixed with low resolution sprites. And at first it really did put me off the game. But it sort of does grow on you, to be honest, but it still does look a bit weird. Suppose it was too much work to redo all the sprites again. No, not being seriously into the Metal Slug games. I do enjoy them, but you know, I'm not some Metal Slug maniac. I can't find anything that's really different about this title compared to all the others. But that's not to say it's a bad game. It's still a great blaster. But there's one thing I'm not too keen on, and that's the shadows which appear over everything. Maybe your bullets give off a shadow, or cast a shadow I should say. And it sort of gets in the way, to be honest. It's a bit messy. I should expect all the animations in there. And in typical Metal Slug fashion, got all those lovely comical touches as well.
Mission complete. Mission 2, start.
Now I should expect, being the 6th game in the series, the storyline is going to go a bit weird, isn't it? And it certainly has, with all these aliens and stuff which are now in the game. And to be honest, I'm not really liking the aliens. In fact, well, you know, they look good enough and the animation's really cool, but it's just stupid, to be honest. And in between the levels you do get little storylines, but they don't seem to actually fit. They sort of, I don't know, seem a bit quiet, to be honest. Sort of stuck in as an afterthought. But still, you can't let a stupid story spoil your enjoyment of the game, can you? Oh, there's the aliens. I'll take that. You've got to love the animation on them, haven't you, when you blow them up? Lovely stuff. That's a lovely water effect, don't you think? This is Sports Jam for the Dreamcast. Two modes to play, and we've got original and arcade. Pretty much the same, to be honest. We're going to go with the original mode, and in the original mode you have two options to choose from. You have Dreamcast Original and your Original. Basically they're the same as well. Apart from if you choose Dreamcast Original, what you'll get is the Dreamcast will choose 4 events at random. But if you choose your Original, you can choose all the events in any order you wish. So starting off, we go with the sprint, the bicycle sprint.
3, 2, 1, go!
The controls are pretty simplistic, to be honest. In fact, in pretty much all the events, the controls are pretty simplistic. In this event, all you do is press the A button. Of course, timing's the main factor in this event. So if you're going to start the game by slamming down the A button as fast as you can, you're going to tire out. Just as the computer's doing right now.
Turning back.
Now, most of the events in the game do have really nice graphics, and one that stands out the most is this golfing section. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if these graphics were taken straight from the major title game which was released in the arcade, also by WoW Entertainment. Certainly looks very similar, and both were running on the Naomi arcade board, which is basically a Dreamcast. Apparently that was meant to be coming out for the Dreamcast, but it never did. Here's the tennis section, and this is, to be honest, a bit on the shitty side. I thought it'd be a bit like Power Smash Tennis, or what's it called, tennis, Virtua Tennis called in the West, isn't it? But it's nothing like that. Basically, you push the D-pad to get your little crosshair on the circles, and then you hit the ball against it. It doesn't actually control like a tennis game, to be honest. As you can see, I'm not very good at it.
Oh, couldn't get that one.
Here we go with the football section. Looks surprisingly like Virtual Striker to me. Again, wouldn't be surprised if that's where the graphics came from. This is what the Japanese call the penalty shootout, or the PK kick. And basically you just got to kick the ball against the points. If it goes in, you get the points. This is one of my favourite events in the game. This is the ice hockey, as you can see. But it's a bit like those air hockey games. Basically the first one to score a goal is the winner. Now, you would have thought they'd do something a bit better with the basketball, wouldn't you? But no, just press the button as soon as the crosshairs in the right place. This ball's got a little bit more to it though. Got to position your bat and smack the A button. So, if you're after a bit of a sports party game, Sports Jam is certainly the way to go. Unfortunately, it's a one-player game unless you're into getting the high scores. Probably best left on the shelf. Hey, here we go with this month's Shite of the Month. It's Wayne's World for the Super Nintendo. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Wayne's World movies, they're bloody great. But this game, it's shite. And what the hell's happened to Garth's head there? Looks like it's been cut off and stuck back on. Hang on, we're coming up to the best bit now. It's the extreme close-up. That certainly made it worth waiting for, eh? So as I was saying, yeah, this is Shite of the Month, and this introduction will go on for quite a while, and believe me, this is the best part of the game. Now, the reason why this game is so shit is because it's made by Grey Matter, and everything Grey Matter made is shit. Example, let me give you a list of the shit they've made. We've got Techno Cop, shit. Fiendish Freddy's Big Top of Fun, that was a computer game for the ST and Amiga and PC, that was shit. We've got what else we got? We've got James Bond Jr. for the Super Nintendo. That was shit. We've got Ren and Stimpy Show, Video Hits or whatever it's called. That was for the Super Nintendo. That was shit. Incredible Crash Dummies on the Mega Drive. That was shit. We've got Bob. That was for the Super Nintendo, and that was shit as well. We've got NHL All-Star Hockey. That was shit compared to the EA games. Phoenix 3, Forza Ali for the 3DO. They were shit. Super RBI Baseball for the Nintendo, for the Super Nintendo that was shit. Crow City of Angels for the Saturn and PlayStation, complete and utter shit. Perfect Weapon, that was on the that was the PlayStation, that was shit as well. Spider-Man on the PC they made, that was shit. And I think that's it. Oh, Trinity, they made Trinity as well. That was on the GameCube and the Xbox, and that was shit. In fact, that didn't even come out, it was that shit. So as you can guess, anything by the company Grey Matter is shit, including this. What's with that bloody music? I think I'll just kill myself, eh? Put myself out of the misery. So you're fucking right, not worthy. The Game Paradise. One of Jellicoe's good games. And the first thing you notice as soon as you start the game off, you get this lovely, beautifully presented options screen where you select all your different modes and options which you'll use within the game. Lovely stuff. And then you go into the mode select. We're actually playing in the normal mode, and you can actually have a time attack version of this as well. And you can also have a story to go along with it. We'll miss all that up because it just drags on. Now there are a number of players you can choose to, well, participate as in this fantasy-based shooter, all come from Jellicoe's games. And as you can see here on the first stage, we're flying over some arcade cabinets, and you can see there's Dead Dance, or Tough Enough as it was released in the States. I never knew that was an arcade game. I thought it was only on the Super Famicom and Super Nintendo. Now, taking a leaf from Konami's parodious games, game Tengoku is certainly not one to be taken too seriously. So as you can see, we started off on the first level in the game center, and now we're in what seems to be the norm, a space shooter. But don't let that fool you, because it'll soon change into some wacky, crazy, messed up mess. See, what did I tell you? Hey, this is one of the more crazier bosses in the game. Basically what you gotta do is shoot down 100 Japanese characters, or whatever you want to call them. Once you shoot down 100, our little karaoke dancing woman there will stop and the room will explode. Certainly gotta give it to Jellicoe, certainly one of the more interesting bosses I've ever seen in a shooter. Yeah, she's just complaining there that she hasn't finished the song. And on to stage 5, and yeah, we're going to play in a game shop. Crazy stuff. Now this game all looks great, doesn't it? But to be honest, it's not as... I don't know, it's missing something, but there's a little guy with a virtual boy in his head there, wasn't there? It's certainly missing the flair that, you know, real shooters have. That's not to say the game's not fun, but I don't know, there's a certain impact which seems to be missing from it. And also, I do think the game is a little bit too hard. Like, this is on easy at the moment, and it's still bloody hard. Mind you, if a crazy off-the-wall shooters are your thing, you'll certainly love this. We were in the game shop just then, and now what's happened? We flew into an adult mahjong game. This is actually the original mode I'm playing as well. If you play the arcade mode, it doesn't actually feature all of these levels. And after that, you actually fly into an RPG world as well. Oh, we just missed that bit out, and we'll go straight to the racing world. It gets even more wacky, because after the racing world, you get stuck in an 8-bit shooter. So as I was saying, Tengoku is a pretty decent shoot 'em up, but it's certainly missing the X factor. It makes it one of those, you know, can't put it down, addictive shooters. It's more of a get out of a laugh type of blaster. Then, you know, get stuck in there and try and get those high scores ranked up. Ever wanted to play Super Mario with Sonic? Neither have I, to be honest. But someone in China certainly thought we did want to. So here we have Super Mario, taken from the Super Nintendo Super Mario All-Stars or Super Mario Collection, whichever title you want to give it. Take Mario out and stick in Sonic. Collect the mushroom, he goes blue. Without mushroom, he's red. And surprisingly, they've done a decent enough job. Apart from they forgot to take bloody the Italian ugly mug's gob out of it just there. How about that? That was quick, eh? Ooh, there's an awful background noise in there, isn't there? So let's collect the mushrooms. Sonic can also collect the fire flower, which, believe it or not, does let him throw fireballs out of his chest from the looks of it. Now, control-wise, it is a little bit fiddly. Well, yeah, you could do it a bit of fine-tuning, to be honest. But overall, the effect is pretty good, and I'm quite surprised at how well this has turned out. It does play a good game of Mario. Except, in this game, Sonic can actually run by holding down the B button. I don't think Mario could ever run, could he? Or could he? I can't remember now. You can see Sonic throws out the fireballs after collecting the flower. Now, have you noticed Sonic actually looks smaller on this stage? Sure it's not just me, I'm sure he is smaller. And being Chinese pirates, they've gone and left Bowser in there, made no attempt to change him into Eggman. They're lazy sods. But still, as I said before, as an overall experience, this is actually quite good. Just a shame it's pretty hard to find. Based on the animation series, this is Ninpen Mamaru. It says it's by Enix, but it's actually by Tamtam. And what's the point of the game, you may be wondering? That's quite simple really. Get from point A to point B. Quite simple, but actually quite tough as well on later levels. And also quite a refreshing title for the Sega Saturn, because as far as I know there aren't that many straightforward 3D platformers on the system. And I own over 1,000 games for it. Now some of you may be thinking that it has similarities to the PlayStation's Jumping Flash games. And I think that may be because they're both made by the same company. I'm pretty sure Tamtam made the Jump and Flash series. Could be wrong though, but I'm pretty sure they did. So far Ninpen Mamaru looks pretty cool, doesn't it? And in its own way it is a pretty good game. But there's always a downside, isn't there? And in this game's case, it's the controls, sort of, and the collision detection. Now, unlike Croc, which we featured last month, where they have bloody awful controls where, you know, didn't even know which way you were pushing the controller, this one sort of features the same sort of problem, but nowhere near as bad as what Croc did. You know, occasionally you can actually push sideways on the controller and he'll go forward because the camera's pointing that way. It can be bloody annoying, but if you do take your time, you won't face that problem, unlike Croc. Another problem which the game does have is collision detection. Now sometimes it can say you've smacked into a wall, and clearly you've still got a couple of, well, maybe measure it in the game sense, but you've got a couple of centimeters before you smack into it, to be honest. And other times you can actually be standing in mid-air next to a platform. The computer thinks you're actually standing on it, but you're not. But these things are just like sort of little niddly complaints, to be honest. Just having a little bit of a mess with the camera there. You also can look up and down and around the area as well. Oh, made it past that one. Ah, bollocks. Now this game does have a very nice way to continue. Instead of giving you credits as such, you've actually got to collect more coins than the opposition guy there. If you do collect more coins than him, you do get to continue on the stage you just left off at. If not, it's game over. And back to selecting your save file. I think the game's forgot to load in the background there by the looks of it. So overall, Ninpen Mamaru is a pretty decent game. Check it out. Oh, what a moody opening this is. This is Majyou for the Super Famicom. And unfortunately, I regret to say this is going to be the last game you're ever going to see on Retro Core, because this is in fact the final Retro Core. Thought I'd keep it till the end of the show before I told you. But unfortunately I no longer have time to produce the show, so at least we're going out on a good game, eh? So the idea of the game is to get back your wife and your daughter from the demons in this very peculiar, obscure platformer. Now, to get back your family, you would have thought you'd just go through the entire stages, just blow the crap out of them when you can, but oh no, you actually turn into different demons. Quite a novel idea, and it works quite well actually in well, most parts of the game. Coming to us from KSS, you may remember them from the Sega Saturn game Anarchy in Nippon, as well as a lot of shitty games as well. And you did make Bing Bing Bingo, which was sort of okay, I guess. But I would say that this game is actually very good. Quite a lot of moves in there for your character, and then when you turn into various demons, you get extra moves as well. And throughout the game, you got pretty lovely graphics, and it does sound quite nice. But the most important part is that the play is good. So what I'm going to do now is just shut up and you enjoy the lovely graphics. And a bit weird actually.